Young girl, come inside. What is your name?
Fiona.
Could you please show Fiona how to move the pieces?
In chess, the small one can become the big one.
It's a beautiful story, the way we are telling it, I think. Also about how the teacher and the student become equal. And then the student exceeds the teacher. And the teacher wants that, but is sort of dazzled by it, you know. And then how they, basically this kind of beautiful seesaw of their relationship, teacher and student, Fiona and Robert. And David brings a kind of wave of humor, but very deep emotionality.
Can you do big things from such a small place?
Don't think about such things.
Why not?
You would be disappointed.
It's been the greatest joy in this film to be able to film the streets I love and to add any amount of layers that I have seen and experienced, even in, say, street vendors down a street, or the kinds of matoke down a street, or the kinds of people down the street, you know, and to be having the facilities to get it all in a frame and not to be afraid, thanks to the marvel of Sean Bobbitt, not to be afraid to film it in the widest possible expanse so that you are enveloped by this world.
Chess helps us solve problems.
But I'm gonna love you anyway.
It teaches us to make a plan.
If you didn't have a wall to hide behind,
Use your minds,
but you fall to pieces when your eyes met mine.
and you will all find safety.
I mean, the chess games are a fantastic visual challenge because I love the rigor of the game, you know, the strategizing of the game. But I'm so aware of the fact that we have so many games to shoot in the Queen of KATWE that I cannot afford to be treading like familiar ground visually with each game. So Sean and my challenge is precisely how to treat games almost emotionally, actually, you know, in terms of what Fiona is doing or growing through each game, you know, but it should have its character, its own character. So that's the challenge.
Now your sneak attacks. This is not the ghetto.
I don't need to sneak. Checkmate.
This year's gold medalist, Fiona Mute.
Scene one of the film, which is when Fiona is sort of amping herself to get ready for the Rabusheni National Chess Championships. I wanted to film it like she was entering a boxing ring. I wanted to film it like we have seen so many films where only men, you know, pump themselves up in some sort of way, usually physically. You know, the lights come on them, you know, the drop of sweat that goes down, the whole kind of the crowd waiting. I've seen it, and you've seen it in so many films. And I wanted to do our own version of that, because that is what Fiona, you know, did and does. I've gone with her through several championships now, and I see how she has to kind of close off the world in a very imperceptible way to focus. You know, it's interesting. It's not outward and, you know, salaming the crowds. It's not like that. It's the other way around. You know, it's how to shut down and yet be completely alive.
Why are you letting her win?
I'm not letting her.
You can see it moves ahead.
Checkmate. 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 She won.
You could be the best in all of Uganda.
Good. How can I become a champion?
I want audiences to be invited into a world which at first glance might seem like nothing they had ever seen, but within moments should captivate you into seeing yourself in these people, in our characters, to seeing a world, to seeing people who strive against all odds, but who never lose their humanity and who never lose the ability to live life fully.
Are you my daughter?
Yes, Mom, I am.
it's so beautiful because she is from the region as well. And I was very careful to make a film that is deeply, deeply as authentic as could be. And but I always thought of Harriet for Lupita from the moment we began, really, in earnest. And we called this draft the Lupita draft, and sent it to her. And I think I must have heard from her in about 18 hours, because said she was shaking and she was completely just charged by the power of the story and Harriet and everything. So it was instant.
Sometimes the place you are used to is not the place you belong. You belong where you believe you belong. Where is that for you?
I had followed his work. He's such a chameleon, and there's such a gravitas in him, and yet a mischief and an ability to completely be malleable into the performance that he's playing. So you don't recognize him from the butler to Lincoln to Paperboy to, he's completely got this surrender into a role. And also he looked uncannily like Robert Katende. Uncannily. And there was no other Robert for me than David O. And it was pretty much the same. I sent it to him, and he wrote me this letter pretty much within a day or two, saying that Mississippi Masala had made a big impact on him as he was a young person trying to be an actor in a largely white industry, and et cetera, and that the power of Robert Katende's story was that, there were no other saviors who helped him. He found his own way, and his own way was in, inspiring and really bringing up children, not one, not two, but groups and now hundreds, to have a kind of father in them, with them, and to lead them to understanding the sort of power of their own potential. And so anyway, David said yes immediately.